welcome to our 40th episode of Black Dance Stories. Here's a note about why we are here. Our dance world was pummeled by COVID-19, and Black dance artists are finding ways to talk about life during this time. Our world was further turned upside down after horrible events ensued nationally and globally, bringing attention yet again to the need for the Black Lives Matter movement. Black dance artists have not been quiet. Black dance artists have been doing the work. Black dance artists continue to make work. To stay involved, we hold these weekly impromptu discussions and tell stories. Black dance stories. This is one action, and we will stay involved. We are a community working together to support, uphold, highlight, and celebrate Black creatives. Tonight is our 40th episode of what we hope will be many Black dance stories told in the artist's own voices. Tonight, it's Fana Fraser and Iyun Ashani Harrison's turn. Please meet some of our BDS family. I will go first. I am Charmaine Warren. I'm a light-skinned Jamaican. I am the great-granddaughter of Ida Boyd, granddaughter of Solomon Golson and Ruby Chapman, and one of 9 children by Theophilus Warren and my 95-year-old mother, Pearline Warren, who lives in Jamaica. I am the aunt and grand aunt of 25 plus nieces and nephews at last count. I am a non-disabled Black woman. Now and forever, I promise to acknowledge those who came before me and have toiled to make it possible for me to be present on this land. Today, I give homage to the Native people by acknowledging that I live on the stolen land of the indigenous Lenape people, now known as Montclair, New Jersey, with my husband, photographer and graphic artist, Tony Turner. Our daughter, Ashe Turner, a Black ballerina with locks, is in her junior year at Boston Conservatory. I have locks that are braided and pulled up in a bun and down to my shoulders. I'm wearing a bright red and yellow floral blouse and large white hoop earrings. Behind me are photos of our family, a large plant, a lamp, and African masks. Happy Black Dance Stories Thursday, BDS family. Thank you for witnessing. We see you and we love you. I turn it over to Kimani.
Yes, and I love you, Charmaine. Thank you. Welcome, welcome everyone. In the words of Gloria Grimes, as you know, delicious, delightful dancing night it's gonna be. Yes, the importance of acknowledging our familial and dance legacies is an essential tradition. And in keeping with the tradition, I recognize my Indigenous brothers and sisters as a first step in moving toward action. With profound respect, I honor and acknowledge the Lenape, whose stolen land I am zooming from, currently known as Harlem. I am a Black, non-disabled woman, and I live with my 10-year-old son. I'm sitting in my dining room surrounded by white walls. I have golden hair with close natural curls. I am wearing a yellow flowered green stem V-neck shirt with sterling silver giant hoop earrings. I am the granddaughter of Lucille Madison, a wise and giving English professor. I teach because of her. Daughter of Ronald Augustus Fowlin, Jamaican warrior and gourmet chef, and Anne Fowlin, rebel and Renaissance woman. I dance because of them. My son Tamayo keeps me present as I witness this growing boy. I am in awe of his amazing talents and his blossoming spirit. And with that, I turn it over to Makeda.
Thank you, Kimani. Hi, everyone. My name is Makeda Lily Nwabunkosi Margie Rose Roni. I am in this human experience as an able-bodied Black Indigenous American woman. Pronouns she, her, and they in acknowledgement of my ancestors and spirit team that is all around me, that is also me. I come from a long generational line of artists and energetic intuitives, both on my maternal and paternal lines, the Love Roni lines, which extend through so many amazing, powerful people, names, and ancestors that I send my love and gratitude to every day by just being, even by just being. I am the daughter of Nia Love and Antoine Roni. I am the sister of Kojo Roni, Zipporah Roni, and Turquoise Love, all of us beautiful, powerful artists. I am zooming from Harlem, which was respectfully and harmoniously occupied by the unceded Lenape. I am a life, body, soul alchemist in which I turn ethereal matter into what we call art, dance, movement, poetry, and whatever else my soul is called to channel and express love, light, and truth. I'm sitting in my loft bedroom on a love seat couch. Behind me are white walls, a bookshelf, and a wool hanging tapestry. I have my hair back in a part with two little hanging curls in front of me. I have gold earrings on, two gold necklaces, and a button down white and blue striped shirt. So I want to tell everyone that I say every week, community is such a big part of Black Dance Stories. We know this. And so we want to know who's watching tonight. Like this video, drop some comments in the chat, please say hello, where you're watching from. Feel free to engage throughout this, ask questions, please ask questions, and share some love. Please also follow us on our social media. Our Instagram is at Black Dance Stories. Our Twitter is at BLK Dance Stories. Both of our Instagram and Twitter links should be in the chat and as well as the description of this video. And most importantly, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have a huge goal of making it to 1,000 subscribers, and we're almost there. We can't do it without your help and your community. So please subscribe, follow us, and share with your community. We have a subscriber Sunday, every Sunday. So look out for that. It's on our social media. And if you're on our newsletter, a day where we illuminate the amazing community that we have and encouraging other people to be a part of this growing community. We always just want to thank everyone for your continual love and support. And without further ado, everyone grab yourself some tea, some wine, your cup of happy, and let's cheers to Black Dance Stories.
Cheers.
Cheers. And I pass it to Kimani.
Thank you, Makeda. So everyone, again, please, we can't do this without your support, and we want to keep this going for as long as we can. Please consider donating, right? This is our, right now, going to a show, right? Our Thursday nights. So please, thank you. I would also like to say that with the continuing things happening, y'all, we will stay vigilant, okay? And we will stay in solidarity with our sisters and brothers all over the world, with all those who want an immediate end to racial violence and systemic racism. Please do something, act. Thank you. And I am turning it back to Charmaine.
I'll take it. Yes, Sister Kimani. Yes, Makeda. Community. That's us. Thanks everyone for being here. Yes, yes, yes. Kimani and Makeda are going to say ta-ta for a little bit. And we get to bring in our first guest for the evening. Hot dang. Here comes Fana. Fana Fraser. Come on in and say hello to the people. Hi, Fana. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
It popped up. Hello.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Introduce yourself, please.
Okay. My name is Fana Hillary Fraser. Fana and Ife are names that my parents, Marcia and Anthony Fraser, gave to me. And Hillary is my maternal grandmother's name. You can use she, her pronouns with me. I am currently nervous. I can feel a little sweat pouring out of my armpits. Maybe if I do this, you'll see the imprint. But that's happening with my body right now. I am in my room, sitting cross-legged at my desk. I live on stolen Lenape land, and I'm in Brooklyn. And I live with my dear friend, Roya Carreras. Boom, boom. I am from Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, which is Kairi or Airi. Lots of I'm a dancer, so this is why I'm doing this right now, because sometimes language, verbal language, I have to gather myself to find. I am wondering what I am going to talk about today. I had plans. I had lots of plans, lots of ideas, lots of thoughts on all of the things that I could say, all of the things that I could do. And I'm choosing to be where I'm at right now, which is here, 6:14 p.m. Ding! I think that sometimes I'm going to move into my dance language because this is actually how I live. I have a lot of nervous energy that I channel and try to change and shift into more supportive, grounded energy. So right now I'm shifting my legs from being cross-legged to feet planting on the floor, on the ground, on the floor. I'm on the floor of my room is gray marley, actually. That was gifted to me by the Alvin Ailey Dance Foundation, because at one point I worked as the rehearsal director for Ailey 2, and that ended in August 2020, last year. And I have to tell myself to breathe. I have to put my hands on my chest sometimes. I can feel my heart racing. Take a deep breath in and I exhale. And I feel like I am landing more into myself, my body, my being. I love dancing. I am so grateful to my family, my parents, who put me in dance class at Caribbean School of Dancing when I was about 4 or 5. I don't remember. My first teachers were Nancy Herrera, Carol Yipchoy, Joanne Deckel, how can I forget? Patricia Rowe. Those women really, really were magic. And I am forever grateful for that support. Yeah. I feel like my eye right now, my left eye is closing, opening, closing. I can feel my pelvic floor releasing. I'm exhaling. I'm holding onto my left cheek, trying to hold myself a bit, give myself some extra support. I can see Mama Charmaine just giving me the love. I am the very lucky big sister of my two siblings, Jabari and Fiola, and the proud auntie of my brother's children, Donovan and Amari. I think that this is an introduction. I think that I'm introducing myself, reintroducing myself in my words, in my own words, in my own body way. Yeah, my toes are, is that flexion or is that extension? No, I don't remember. My toes are pointing. To Rebecca Dietzel, shout out to Rebecca Dietzel at the Ailey Fordham BFA program that I graduated from in 2009. Amazing anatomy, kinesiology teacher. All of those lessons are still resonating in my body and finding their way with my ways. Yeah, I think that's probably an accurate statement. I I am looking right now at my desk at, I'll just show it so that people can also see. So this is those old school like signposts that was gifted to me. And it's the Trinidad and Sunday Guardian. And my dad is a journalist. And I mean, this is one of these strange, supernatural sorts of occurrences that are frequent in my life. Hence the shirt that I decided to wear today. I was like, the sky, the stars, expansive universe that we are from, in, with, can feel swirling inside. Oh. I'm learning to use my voice. I'm learning to use my voice. I am reclaiming my voice. I am strengthening my voice. I am expressing myself. And that is one of the reasons that I need to make performances. Is like I have to, like I must. Yeah, so I'm thinking right now about my grandpa. Maybe he's here with me. I don't know. Perhaps always. I mean, he's always with me, with us. Yeah, the words. Sometimes fly away from me. And so I work with my body. Yeah, work with my body. More, Charmaine, say more. I'm like, I'm moving back and forth right now because I'm trying to figure out where I am. I keep moving in space. It feels like I'm here, and then I fly away, and then I come back. I'm like a bird, and then I come back, and then I'm like, what am I saying? Where was I going? Where was the thread? It just keeps moving. It keeps moving. I love this swivel chair that I have. I have a candle that a pink candle that I just remembered is lit right now in my room. And I lit that last night after a really exciting public sharing with the University of the Arts BFA dance students. We've been working together since August. Had one pod. I was working as a guest artist. I was invited by Niall Jones. One pod was in the fall, and we just ended one pod in the spring, and we had our Zoom performance that actually was so exciting. I've been working with developing composition and improvisation modalities, and one of the creative processes or practices that I'm currently developing is called Wild Wild Self-Logic. And yeah. It's like moving. We have to move. We have to move. We have to move together. And I'm visioning along with, we're moving together beyond freedom. That is just, it's so much. It's so much muchness. Old, much now. It's like so heavy and disturbing and difficult. And you feel it in your blood, and and you feel it, and you see it in your dreams. And it's terrifying. The memories that come are not easy, and they're still here with us. And I'm placing my right hand in my sternum to just reground myself and return. My eyes just spotted a book that I'm reading, Undrowned, Black Feminist Lessons from Marine Mammals by Alexis Pauline Gumbs. And I mean, the book is dense. It is incredible. It is beautiful. It's this beautiful book. I'm gonna open it. Let's see where. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, revolutions is the word that is popping out for me, that I'm witnessing right now. And turning, I think about turning. Think about the physics of turning, the mechanics of being turned, untwisting, I think. Yeah, so yeah, this is sometimes a good. No, I feel I'm gonna shift my orientation so that this is why I love this swivel chair, because now, there we go. And then I find something beautiful. I'm looking out the window. I see these green trees. I live on the 6th floor, so I'm at the treetops. I'm at the roof, and the bees knock at the window. They like knock, knock, knock. They bump into the window. Yeah, I'm thinking about flying and flight. Crow pose has been like, my body has been like moving itself into crow pose. It's really quite the experience of feeling that groundedness coming through both of my hands, and like scapula opening has been very grounding. I was up this morning at around what time? Pretty early, like maybe I felt myself wake up, and then my eyes opened, I want to say at around 6:45. Then I think I laid in bed until about 7:30, and then I was just moving, taking myself through nerve strengthening. This is a good nerve strength. I don't know. Wait, what did I take my hands and what am I doing? I'm clenching my fingers like a paw, perhaps. Yeah, bringing them in. This is I learned this from, I think, gyrotonic. I'm also a certified gyrotonic instructor, just throwing that out there. Yeah, I've done a lot of things in my time here at NYC from 2005 to now. And dance with Camille Brown. I just took my breath away because it was one of the most intense, life-changing moments in my time dancing here. Premiered Black Girl Linguistic Play at the Joyce, I think in 2015 or 16, danced next to Beatrice Capote, Kat Foster, Maura Amina Paga, Usha Marie Sorzano, Scott Patterson, Tracy Wormworth, Camille Brown. I think that's everyone. This, yeah, dancing, learned a lot in that process, learned a lot from Camille, learned a lot, so much gratitude. Yeah, and I'm back to creating my work, to doing the work that I know that I need to make, which is, I think, making. Now I just want to make beautiful things. I just want to make beautiful things that people can come experience, that I want to be in. I'm like, I want to be in this situation. Like, if I want to be in this situation, then this is, maybe somebody else might want this too, like something transformative. I think, here's the revolution coming again. I'm just like thinking, turning, rewinding, reverse, rewind, reverse, unwind, tongue loosening. I've been doing this tongue practice. I've been doing this practice where I try to forget my name. And then I try to hear it or remember it or feel it, or how do I forget and how do I remember? And I had a strange experience this past week, or it could have been last week, where I was in that, that half asleep, half awake, and I was going through the English alphabet for whatever reason, at 7 a.m. in my dreams. And I could not remember what came after. I think I might have been like A, B, C, D, E, F. And then it was like, I could not remember what came next. And I thought that was strange. And then it happened again later in the day. And I'm like, Fana, what's going on? What are you up to? So I'm figuring that out. It'd be exciting. I feel like I'm in a much better place, despite all of the ongoing, all of the contradictions just exist, and that's a lot to contend with. But I feel like right now I'm in a much healthier mental place, mental health wise. Was not okay. Let me tell you, I was not well. I was not okay. Not okay. I have been not okay for a long time. Not okay. Not good. Bad, doing not good. But somehow functioning at some crazy level that I cannot actually comprehend. But it feels good to know that all of those, not all, that I can let go, that I can begin to release and find moments to exhale
And make art
and make and to share and to
and to
be in
share.
community and to love. Like, so much love. There's so much love. There's,
Ah,
like, let's love. And fight. I'll fight. Don't try me. I'll fight.
what a journey, Fana. Thank you. What a journey.
Thanks for listening.
So I hate to interrupt. This is just not the fun part, but I was asked to tell the audience, our fabulous viewing audience, that something is going on with YouTube. It's glitchy,
Huh.
that they don't go, we go, and we'll come right back.
Hey.
Is that right, Makeda?
Yes.
Yes. So don't go anywhere. We're going to stop. We're going to pause, but we're going to come back. Don't go anywhere, everybody. Iyun, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all here and you can hear us and see us. Yeah, I think you are. I think you're here. Okay, so Fana, hi Fana.
The gas. Today's a very strange day because
It's a very strange day.
the gas because of the stove. Remember the stove? They're here to fix the gas.
Okay,
They just rang my doorbell. I'm telling you, strange things are happening.
strange things happen. Run to answer the door. I will tell the people who are here and then we'll bring Iyun in, but come right back. Strange things are happening today. Iyun, don't come in yet, but folks, we thank you for your patience. Wow. Okay, Zelin Yang is here. Rihanna Granados. I write these names fast, so excuse me. Kenneth Prado. Sarah Guvich. Sarah, hey Sarah. Tian Liu. Morgan Connor. Pooja Vasan. Kayla Dadler. Grace, hey Grace. Ann Davison, hey Ann. Laura Marchese. Emile Lenoir and Tess Viega. Thank you all for being so patient. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. So I think, is it okay now, team? Is the stream better? Yes, team, is the stream better?
Little funky, but we're working it through.
We're working it through. We got it.
Okay, okay. Daggone it. All right, Fana should be coming back. No, Fana can't come back. Go away, Fana. Let's have Iyun come on in. Say hello to the people. Hi, darling.
Hi, how are you?
Cheers.
Cheers, it's early, so I'm drinking water still.
That's right. So why don't we save the cross talk with you and Fana until later on?
Okay.
What a crazy afternoon this is, but please introduce yourself, Iyun. So glad you're here.
Yes, I am really grateful for this opportunity. I want to thank Dr. Warren and the folks at Black Dance Stories for this opportunity to participate, to engage in a conversation. I am Iyun Ashani Harrison, and I am here, I'm Jamaican, I grew up in St. Andrew, Jamaica. So I think it's really fun to be in this virtual space, but on this continent and in the US, and having this conversation with so many people of Caribbean descent. And it feels very special for me to be a part of this. I am in Pasadena, California, in my apartment. And I just wanted to share a little bit with you today. So I am the executive director of my own company. I founded a company called Ashani Dances in 2011 in Seattle. And over the years, I've really clarified my kind of artistic perspective and realized where really the heart of my work is inside of ballet. So I'm the executive director of the company, and we renamed it, and we're really changing the branding of it. And so we renamed it Ballet Ashani, and that's my middle name. My middle name, my dad created the name. That's a story that I was told. And his name was Arthur Stafford Harrison. So therein came the ASH, right? And then he went to West Africa, and he, as he told me, he was visiting the Ashanti tribe, and while he was there, he felt this connection, right? That this is before we were able to go in and do our ancestry, you know, our DNA, to know where we might actually have come from. But anyhow, so he gave all of his children Ashani as a middle name, with the idea that we would drop what he called our slave names. And then we'd all be Iyun Ashani, Ayana Ashani, Zawanda Ashani, and Rashana Ashani. None of us have done that. We've kept our Harrison names. It keeps a connection with the patriarch of our family, who is important to us, Victor Harrison. I was quite lucky to have parents who are in the arts, both of my parents. It wasn't their primary careers, perhaps more for my dad than my mom, but they were in the art. They actually met in a dance class in Jamaica, and then they both all went on to acting. My mom's name was Christine Ann Bell, and she has passed. And my dad's name was Stafford Arthur Harrison. Yeah, those are my people. I am here. I want to share the kind of representation of them in our space. I have it through the artwork that I have kept. I was lucky, while my little brother was alive, we agreed that I would take the artwork that I could pack in my suitcases after mom passed. So the one on this side is a Richard Hall original, and I think it's quite beautiful. Yeah. And what I do like about it very much is the coloring, but there's a way that it captures an archetype of the Black silhouette in profile. I thought it was really beautiful. And the color scheme for me feels very Jamaican in that sense, and muted perhaps, but quite beautiful. Behind me, you'll see some images of myself dancing. Those of you who don't dance full-time anymore and dance for a long time might be able to relate to this. For me, keeping these images remind me of who I am, where I came from. As a professor of dance, I'm going to be joining the faculty at Duke University in the fall. I'll be an associate professor there, and I will be the director of undergraduate studies and the head of the ballet program there. And for those of you who teach, you may know those times where you start to lose that sense of who you were as a physical being. And for me, this is a reminder to keep pushing, keep taking care of myself, and kind of keeping that core self in me. So I'm gonna move you slightly. I'm not gonna get up, but if you look over here, you'll see some artwork, and you really can't see very well. But the top image, my auntie who has passed, she did a self-portrait. That's at the top. The one in the middle is a father and child, and it's a Rasta, and my dad was a Rasta. And then the bottom image is a woman. You can't really see that one. It's one kind of obscured by the lamp, but it's a woman who is scrubbing a floor with a coconut brush in Jamaica. And the artists are here, Richard Hall, and the Rasta is Ray Jackson, and the woman scrubbing the floor. It's actually a photograph that's being painted on a canvas, and that person is Herbie Rose. So for me, those become important artifacts of my and connectors in my daily life to my my family, my parents, and to Jamaica, and that's significant for me to help me keep me grounded in the space. So I want to talk about my Black dance story. Um, and, it's an interesting thing, Black dance, that term, and it's debated in academics spheres. What does Black dance mean? But there's a way that it represents a diaspora, right? Particularly outside of Western Africa, the diaspora, this part of the world that we live in, and our folks, and how we persevere and carry our culture with us, and how it languages our bodies, and how we are in space. So when I talk about my Black dance story, it has to start in Jamaica, right? And some real significant people, I stand on their shoulders, and who gave me access. And many of those people have passed. Milton Myers Milton is someone that I'm thinking of right now, who was my teacher when I was a child in Jamaica. He passed when I was still living in Jamaica. Um, uh, Joseph Robinson, who was one of my first dance teachers at the Little People Teen Players Club. Kathy Gibbon Smith, who's Trinidadian, and was a real significant ballet teacher for me. Norma Spence, she lives in France now, but she was a ballet teacher who really shifted my core. And the Jamaica School of Dance, and all the teachers who worked there when I started going to school there at 16, really shifted how I was thinking about creativity, making, seeing myself as more than a dancer, but as someone who has a potential to make new ideas through movement. And I had the privilege of studying in Cuba at Danza Contemporánea de Cuba. And while I was there, you don't know as a young person how these things are going to tie into your career, because later on when I was dancing in Ballet Hispanico, a lot of the information I learned in those folkloric classes and the contemporary modern classes in Cuba really did inform what I did, how I was able to be successful in Ballet Hispanico. I think another really important teacher to talk about is Clive Thompson. I got a scholarship to the Jamaica School of Dance in Clive Thompson's name. And Clive Thompson was one of those dancers in the 70s, 80s who danced in New York and danced with Graham and DTH and Ailey, and he's Jamaican. And for me, in many ways, he's guided me silently in my career and has always been a support system. I want to mention Denise Jefferson, who has already also passed. She was the director of the Ailey School. And why I talk about her already is when I came up to the States, I was lucky to have parents who knew if I was going to be a dancer, what path I might want to take so that I could be successful, right? So they sent me to the right classes, and they were able to do that. And when I mentioned that I wanted to go to Juilliard, I didn't know anything about Juilliard School. This was back when, before the internet. There was a time before the internet, guys, where you had the dance magazine and you opened it and they had little ads, little squares about dance programs. And I remember there's a picture of an African-American man holding his leg to the side in a stretch in ballet class. I looked at that picture and said I was going to go to Juilliard School based on that one picture. So I went to the US Embassy. They had a library. And I went to the college thing. I was reading through the college dictionary, and I saw it said Juilliard was very difficult to get into. And I was like, well, that's the school I want to go to. That's how my brain works. It's kind of still the same way. But I see something, I set a goal, and I go for it, right? So I came up to New York about a month or 6 weeks before my audition for Juilliard. And my best friend, Chris Jobson, he lives in Europe now and dances, has a great career there. We came up to audition together. And while we were in New York training just before the audition, because we knew we had to get like more information, get used to picking up from new teachers and all of that. And I ran out of money. Around the 4th week, we were paying for open classes out of pocket and paying the tokens for the train and all of that. And also trying to like experience New York for whatever you think a mid-90s New York may have been. And we'll get into those details today. Anyhow, at the end of 4 weeks, I ran out of money. And I saw Miss Jefferson in the hallway. She says, you haven't been to Graham class. What happened? I used to take Miss Jefferson's Graham class in the morning. I said, I ran out of money and I'm just giving myself class at my friend's house. They're staying in Brooklyn. And she says, no, come to class. Miss Jefferson let me take free ballet classes from her, from Sheila Rohan, who was a DTS alumna, and from Miss Jefferson. And I did that for 6 weeks. Somehow at my audition for Juilliard, I got in. My best friend went to NYU, and Chris, and that was kind of my way into New York. Juilliard was an important time for me in understanding my body and understanding kind of the offering of dance outside of the Black community. I think it was a really informative moment for me. And in the summers, I went to DTH. My senior year at Juilliard, I got into Ballet Hispanico, and I would go up to BH, walk up to Ballet Hispanico from the Lincoln Center. Ballet Hispanico was like on 86th Street or something like that. And I would rehearse, take company class, rehearse, and then walk back down to the Lincoln Center for my academic classes. So that's what I did my last semester of school. That wasn't where I was supposed to be at that point in my career. I didn't get in. They did give me a contract for the following year. They only gave me that short period of contract. But as luck would have it, Sylvia Waters and Denise Jefferson, right, came to see my senior showcase at Juilliard. And that was the way kind of in after I auditioned for the Ailey Company into Ailey 2. And then after Ailey 2, I danced with Dance Theater of Harlem under the artistic direction of Arthur Mitchell. I was there for 4 years in the Corps de Ballet. And then from there, when DTH folded, I danced with Ballet Hispanico. I went back to Ballet Hispanico. I literally sent an email to Tina Ramirez and I said, Tina, hey, DTH folded. If you're looking for an extra dancer, just let me know. I'm down. Get a phone call from Tina. I mean, the way it all worked out is surprising, right? But get a phone call from Tina. She says, 2 of the dancers are going back to the Limon Company, Bradley Shelver and Kurt. They were going back to Limon Company. Yes, and she hired me, and then I was there for 4 years. You know, I love dancing, but I also was quite capable academically. And being a dancer was challenging for me. This kind of silent body, this kind of everybody telling you where to be, how to speak, how to cut your hair, what your size your body should be. And I was lucky that I had a look that gave me access and training and talent and all of that. But there was a way that I was in the room dancing and more interested in what was happening in front of the room. So for me, that meant I needed to go to grad school. And Hollins University just shifted my core. Birchfield, Donna Faye Birchfield, Dr. Thomas DeFrance, Jeffrey Bullock, these people shifted my core. I didn't understand my privilege. You do the thing they say about privilege, and we only think about privilege as whiteness, right? But privilege as access, privilege as gender. So I never thought about it. It was, this is how I was, and I got things, and I never questioned it. And there was a way that I understood myself as being better than someone else because of the experiences I had. And I really started to ask questions there and shifted how I was thinking. And it took a long time for me. I was there for 3 summers, but it's years after that I really started to understand how ahead of the curve these people were with their anti-racist ideologies and revisionist histories. And it really shifted me and my core. And then I went back to rehearsal because I would go in the summer and then go back to Ballet Hispanico. And it was really difficult for me to be being told what to be and how people of a certain ethnic and racial background behave and look. And because I was asking these critical questions. So unsurprisingly, I started applying for jobs teaching. I had a stint in Barbados at the Arrowborough Center of Creative Imagination, which is at the University of West Indies. And while I was there for 6 weeks teaching on a layoff, and it changed my whole life. I was like, this is so exciting. I was engaged, not just physically, but intellectually and creatively too. And I think that was what was missing from my time dancing. It's very different. For the people out there who have to work in collaborative processes, imagine a time when you walk into the studio and you're told what to do, and this is what you do, and you're asked not to interpret and do anything beyond what is given to you. That was the time in which I was dancing. And being in that place, teaching at the Arrowborough Center allowed me to like engage with multiple parts of myself, which was really exciting. So I was like, I want to keep doing that. I got my first full-time tenure track teaching job at Webster University before I finished my master's degree. The universe, Becca, Reed, I don't know what happened, but everything aligned. And then after that, I taught at Cornish College of the Arts in Seattle, at Goucher College in Baltimore, Maryland, which again was like a radical moment for me as a learner, working with really, really intellectually engaged students in that dance program who were like studying peace studies and looking at social justice. And I was getting there on the heels of the protests that would kind of evolve into Black Lives Matter, and met some really radical faculty and staff persons who shifted me again to think about how was I in a space, what was my responsibility to these young people as an educator. And then my career took me to Los Angeles. I love it here, but it's not the final stop in my path. So I'm headed to Duke, and I'm really excited about that. Can I talk a little bit about Ballet Ashani? Do I have time? Okay. So Ballet Ashani started as Ashani dances in 2012 in Seattle. Over the last 2 years, 3 years really, I've been thinking about what it means to have a company. Where's my work strongest? And really, what am I trying to encapsulate inside of my work, right? And the thing that is at the core of it is it keeps coming back to this kind of referencing of classicism. I would say contemporary ballet, right? So Ballet Ashani, perhaps more from a symbolic place right now because I haven't made work for 2 years, but I want to create an inclusive space for ballet, right? So we have all these questions about changing the ballet field, but what does that look like? And what does that change, right? So inside of the work that I'm doing with Ballet Ashani, I'm trying to create a space where women, persons of color, gender non-conforming people, and differently abled people can make work. So maybe they're making work for the ensemble, for the company, but we have a film festival that we call, we produce a concert called Desert Dance Fest. I'm gonna have to change the name because I'm not gonna be living in desert anymore. But it's where we are trying to curate productions. So we provide the theater, I provide feedback throughout the process of the making and watching of the work. We help them with costumes, we give them full lighting, and we record the production, right? So people have access to high level video of their work. And I want it to be a plethora of people, lots of a wide scope of folks who could be involved. Another part of Ballet Ashani is that we have a pocket, it's called Pocket Pieces Digital Dance Festival. We all have these magnificent devices that actually have really great video capacities. I see what my students and artists are doing online with their phones. So you look at all the film festivals, dance film festivals out here, they're telling you to get this kind of lens and this kind of resolution. Which dancer has access to that unless they're on faculty already established, right? So my idea is let's use the phones we have and make work. And we're gonna have perhaps at this point now, a digital online showcase, but also a presentation in some kind of gallery space. But at the core of it is a place for me to make work. It's a place for me to invite folks who I think are making good work for point shoes to come and be involved. So that's a piece of what we're doing in there. How are we doing on time?
You're good. Maybe 3 more minutes.
Okay. So I want Fana to come back because
she can.
Is she ready?
You ready for Fana to come back?
If Fana is ready, I'm ready.
Fana, you good? Oh my gosh. Well, before you start, I want to say that Bruce Rodriguez is here and Vanessa Gottlieb is here. But Fana, tell people that you're okay.
I'm okay.
And what happened?
So today has been strange. I think I said a lot of strange things happened in my experience. And the stove, when I was getting ready, just trying to gather and ground myself for this, I try to turn on the stove, and of course the gas is not working. And I was like, okay, the stove is not working. Gas isn't coming through. I don't know what's happening. Try to troubleshoot. Call the super, zoom, 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 zoom,
Zoom, zoom.
zoom, zoom. And I heard the YouTube was glitching, and then that happened, and then the doorbell rang, and then it's not the outlets. I thought it was the outlets. It's the gas. I don't know why the gas. I think I'm okay. I opened the windows.
Oh, good.
I'm alone, but I'm with you also.
Well, now I'm going to leave you two because you were beckoned by Ayun because ready. Both of you are ready for some time together. Have a good time.
Thank you. Hey, Fana. So I was there. I was doing my research right before we got on here to see who you are. So I said you're Trini, right? I'm like, oh my God, okay, it's a Caribbean connection. But then I realized, do you remember when you were rehearsing for Black Girls Linguistic Play? You did that one with Camille? Okay. So you guys were rehearsing at 42nd Street. It was summer, I don't remember which year it was. And I was coming in to interview Camille for a project I was working on, some research I was doing. So Camille said, I can come to rehearsal because, Camille wants you to see the work if you're going to talk about the work. And I sat and watched you guys rehearse that whole ballet. I mean, I was just in the corner quietly. You are such a dynamic dancer.
Thank you.
Well, and performer too, because Camille's work kind of like encompasses lots of things, right? It's really in the true sense of like African diaspora dance, the singing, the voice, the acting, the dance. It's one, right? And you were stunning in it. And then I found out last year, when the whole thing was going on at Ailey 2, we don't have to get to details of that. People know what we're talking about. I found out that you had been holding down the fort over there. So you are a leader, you're a performer, you're so dynamic, you're so powerful. How are you navigating those different places in your life? The performance part and the leadership and making part of yourself.
Oh, good question. Thank you, Iyun. Caught me a little off guard. But I think it is in my own making now. I began making performances in 2016, 15, 16, around the same time that I was working with Camille, just because it's just like, oh, she's like, you all too are powerful. I'm like, you're right. It's like, thank you for that. Thank you for that affirmation. And yeah, I've been making work that follows an intuitive practice, and that is rooted in, I think, memory and vision and dreams of landing on Earth in the Caribbean. And what that sort of psycho-spiritual experience can be, and how that manifests into visuals, into sound, into movement, how that channels through my body, and how I can shape or form that information that I perceive or receive or analyze or compile and analyze and shape into stories that can be a little loose, that the frame is tight, and go into an improv frame that is like, I'm like, this is the structure, but also there's so much space to live inside of the world. How am I holding it down? I'm like, learned from my parents, my like how to take care, really, how to take care of people, and how to aim towards taking care of myself.
So I had another question for you. Do you think that, because you're working, so we established that you work with Camille and Ailey too, but you've worked with some other really accomplished makers. like, when I think about how Sidra Bell thinks about choreography, we have a personal friendship. Or when I think about how Francesca Harper, from my work with her in Illy 2, and Andrea Miller, the way those folks are thinking, Camille, the way they're thinking about work, do you think that that influences how you're thinking about it? Or do you think it's in a different direction? Because I'm trying to imagine your work, you know what I mean?
Imagine. Yeah, that's it. That's my work. Yeah, no, I think that there's a naturalness that it's like you know what's inside of you, and then you connect with the like I know what's inside. I know what's inside, right? And then it's like spite. I'm like, who else can I find? Who else can I find? So yes, this this is this is this is like actually the work is me. I like this is how I go through my day, like this, like what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
So there is a way that so you're saying it's improvisational. I would want to say or avant-garde, perhaps.
I'm
In the
like
French
thinking of
sense.
I'm thinking of the French now. I'm like thinking of the I think it's old. Yeah, I think it's also old. I think it's also ancient. I think it's also very old. I think it's like no, I don't think what I don't I mean maybe yeah, new, but I think it's old.
Yeah.
This
Is it
old.
because you're referencing work, or you're referencing body histories, or what?
I think I'm referencing bodies that I can't see,
Mm.
bodied beings,
Hmm.
disembodied beings that are listening, talking, feeling, moving through.
So you're kind of in touch with this kind of ephemeral energies around you.
I think so.
Okay, okay. I will. Can I ask you one last question?
Yeah.
Promise? Okay. So one of the things I've been navigating recently is how to have a connection in Jamaica.
Mm.
So from some vantage points, I'm been successful in my field, and there's a part of me that goes, how do I bring that information home, or how do I provide opportunities for folks to come here and work, or make or present work, or what have you. And it's been difficult for me to. I've been gone for a long time, right? I've been gone for since '95. So it's a significant amount of time, and I was so focused on what I was doing that I did lose connection with some folks.
Yeah.
Are you able to have a connection
Yeah.
in Trinidad, and how are you doing that work?
So I'm thinking about Makeda Thomas right now. I'm thinking about Sonia Dumas specifically and Makeda Thomas.
I went to grad school with Makeda.
Oh, so brilliant, beautiful mother to her children. Like so much love, so much giving, so much intelligence, so much brilliance, so much kind. Like, dreams, goals, right? That's yeah. Um, yeah, connection. I think is witnessing those two women. Makeda does that sort of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And Sonia feels very grounded in Trinidad. But staying in contact, I guess I forget what your question was, but
I'm asking how you're keeping the connection, and if you're able to feel like you're contributing to the development of dance or the arts at home.
yeah, I mean, I think that I think that one, I'm doing what I can to do what I can wherever I am. So yes, and I think staying in connection with those people. I also thinking about Giovanni Ramnochan. We were in high school together, and a brilliant poet, thinking about my friend Michelle Isava, another mother with two children, an artist. I think for me, it's like really intimate, personal connections, and taking care of the connection that exists, that already exists, and letting it, unfold as it will, in that connection. We have, yeah, there's so
I'm
much
here,
to be done,
I hear that you're valuing interpersonal relationships
yeah.
and prioritizing the human resource is the way we would describe it in leadership studies, you know?
Yeah, that's my style. I'm like people first, people first.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. I remember seeing you in the hallways actually on the Ailey School.
Yeah, I think I used to work, well, hopefully this will continue, but pre-COVID, I would come in for the summers and I would choreograph for the junior division, which is
Beautiful.
always the highlight of my year. The students are so radically talented.
Mm.
And that the kind of enthusiasm of the summer school students,
Mm.
it's just, I mean, I would leave after 5 weeks in New York and go back to whichever state I was living in or whichever institution I was working and feel so energized and ready for the semester, to continue doing the work. So yeah, and I was able to see you guys through the windows, rehearse sometimes or in class, beautiful, really beautiful group. Your group of Illich is particularly beautiful.
Thank you.
Guess who's back?
Mama Charmaine!
I'm here. I'm here. I'm not going to hit that note, Fana. But I want to make sure that you just said I saw you in the halls, and I want to make sure you didn't have questions for Iyun that I'm interrupting. Did you?
To be very honest, the whole gas situation was happening. And right now I'm still a little shook.
Yeah, you should be.
And so I'm wondering what you imagine moving back east is going to feel like.
Mm.
West, from island to east to west, back to east.
Right, and it's even more convoluted than that. Fauna, I moved from Jamaica to New York to St. Louis to Seattle to Baltimore to LA, now to North Carolina. So I think that some people find one of my greatest abilities in life and one of my greatest failures in life is my resilience and my insistence on getting what I want. So when I'm not getting what I want and I am clear about what it is and I do the work to get what I want and the folks around me aren't providing it, then I demonstrate that I am able to get what I want. So it's great that I can do that, but it's also, in some ways, I'm at the point now, I need to, for myself, to make a home base. Here's the part of it. Every time I make a community for myself and I'm good at doing that, then I leave. And where I had the energy for it in my 30s, I am so tired, like figuratively and literally. And I think the last 2 years here, I live in Pasadena. It's the part of Pasadena I live in is primarily white and Asian. And, it's isolated. When the Black Lives Matter protests were happening, if I wasn't watching TV, I wouldn't have known it was happening, right? But then I'm on this thing. And I'm seeing my friends and I'm going, I need to be a part of this community, right? I don't know that my work is in the street. I don't know that I don't feel safe in that space, but my place is in the classroom, it's in the theater, and I know I make an impact in those places. So when I'm teaching at a prestigious private liberal arts school that costs $75,000 a year, and yes, the one I'm moving to is like that as well, but it's in a different community, right? What impact do you get to really have? These people are not here to study dance. It's a class along the way kind of for them, right? So this for me, Durham is a place I've spent 3 summers in at ADF through Hollins University. I have former students who live in that space, and Facebook is moving there, and Duke has all this money, and there are the 3 universities and all of that wonderful research triangle. But there's a community of Black and brown people there who need to be serviced. And now that my finances are taken care of and I don't have to worry about them in the way that I've had to worry about them, because I don't have my people, my immediate family, my parents have passed. So now that I have that grounding, I need to be somewhere where I can make a contribution. And I don't know what that looks like. I honestly don't. But for me right now, that's what I'm negotiating. I'm trying to figure out. One of my mentors in Jamaica, Stephen Woodham, he's a classical violinist. He said to me, you have to think about your legacy. And I understand what he means by legacy. So, but if we take that word legacy out, what does my life mean beyond how I've served myself? That's kind of where I am now. And who can I serve, and who can I provide for, and who can I be the person for other people that Miss Jefferson, Benjamin Harkarvey, Kathy Levy, all these people who are in my life as a young person, can I be that for someone else? So that's kind of where I am, and I think I can do. I just need to sit my behind down long enough to get connected, right, and really do something meaningful. I think Baba Chuck in Durham, and what the work that ensemble did or does in that community, and how can I, and it's not about scale, it's about impact. That's
Yeah, I was going to ask Fana about this, the same thing. You kind of asked him about Iyun about settling down, and you brought up community. And I wonder for you, Fana, finding that place where Black and brown folks are, and then the legacy that you've pulled from, and do you think about what you're going to leave going forwards? It's a big question, but Iyun brought it up, and I thought,
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I've been playing with this idea for a sanctuary space in my mind for the past, when my nephew was born. So for the past 7 years, this has been like playing in my mind, of Navel String Studios. I'm also a full spectrum doula in training. So that's covering birth, abortion, miscarriage. The list goes on that I can't remember right now, but I'm very much interested in support energy and creating support energy and holding spaces for people. And so, yes, that is the seed idea in my mind, NSS, that can then be a gathering space, that can also be a platform for experimental. So the word, experimental, radical, Black, brown, queer, Caribbean diaspora people can be themselves in space together and have a home, a hub that they can always return to.
what was the name of the place again?
Navel String Studios, NSS.
Now, only if you're Caribbean, you say navel, your navel string.
Right? And like, you need to know.
Oh my gosh. So I guess then Iyun's curation will also be at the studio.
Yes. Yeah.
Clearly. Okay. This fabulous people, thank you again for being here. Thank you for your patience. Sarah has a question. Sarah Gurevich, of course. When did you know, and I'm going to put this to both of you, when did you know you were a dancer, performer, artist? And what are your current most supportive creative practices? Sarah.
I can go first. Sarah.
Okay.
When did I know? I think I knew when I was about, first of all, I think I've always known. And I think it really hit me, and it hit my parents when I was maybe 4 or 5. And we only had 2 channels. We had 2 channels. We had 2 channels because my parents were like, no American cable in this house. So we had 2 channels, and my dad was working at one of them. And yeah, on Sundays Bollywood, for our East Indian community, the Bollywood, and I would just be like this in front of the television, just dancing full out with feeling. And my family is a family of birth. Everybody has a story. There's always some talk. It's like how could it not be? How could it not be? It has to be so.
And
Supportive.
then the second part is, what are your current most, wait, let's go to Iyun first, and then we'll come back. So when did you know Iyun?
My mom was a very talented actor. And I remember seeing her probably around 8, 9, being in the theater, and she did this role, and I can't remember the name of the play right now, but it's a Jamaican writer. And I'd been listening to her run these lines. And sometimes I would read the script with her to help her run lines. And then I remember sitting in the theater one night, she took me down and we had dinner, and then I watched the show, and then we went back home. And I remember sitting there realizing that it was like a moment of realization, like, oh, what we were working on over there wasn't it. This is it. And this thing is so real and alive that I'm crying, not just because of her performance, but because this person is no longer my mother. This person has transcended into this being that I don't know. And I think that kind of transformational, transcendent performance became a part of what I desired for myself. So even when I thought I wanted to be an architect or a lawyer or whatever it is, the traditional careers I thought, I always knew it needed to be transformational and transcendental, right? So, but I think my moment as a performer was when I was in Little People and Team Players Club, and that group, Kathy Levy, Pauline Bellamy, and Joe Robinson, what they created in Jamaica in the early 90s is just surprising. How many of us are having professional careers in the UK, Europe, and the US and the Caribbean. Like, it's surprising at the number of people that have become professionals from that group. And I think when I was there, we were touring. Like, I was, 15 on tour in North Carolina, performing at the Folk Moot Festival, we went to England, New York. I had no idea. We performed in the Caribbean. One of the most memorable performances there was at Harrison's College, my last name too, right? But being there and seeing the effect we were having. And I remember being on the tour bus and going, this is the life. I enjoyed the tour bus. Like, I enjoyed that part of it too. So for me, it was somewhere between seeing my mom perform when I was around 9 and seeing the magic in that, and then also that early experience in my teens of being with these kind of exacting leaders, artistic leaders that made it very clear for me. Yeah.
So the second part is, what are your current most supportive creative practices? You go first, Fana.
So writing is I've always loved to write. It's just things that I love to do. I've always loved to write, and I've been writing more poetry and stories, short stories. I'm getting into screenplays, just throwing that out there. So writing, I enjoy doing with my less practiced hand, which is my left hand for me. So writing with my less practiced hand. What else do I do? Drawing, doodling, cooking, creative practices. I mean, like living my life.
Cooking carefully with the gas, though.
Yeah, well,
How about you, Iyun? what are your current most supportive creative practices?
Right. So I'm gonna follow in Fana's footsteps and say that we don't always think of intellectual pursuits as creative, but I have to say that I'm in a doctoral program at Marymount University. It's a doctorate. It will be a doctorate in educational leadership and organizational innovation. What it's doing is leadership studies, right? And I've been writing. Everybody wants you to write about some kind of uninteresting area, but I'm writing about what I'm interested in, right? It's ballet and dance, and as a broader field. And I'm looking a lot at like some of the problems we're having in our field, in terms of leadership, some of the abuses that happen in our field, some of the specifically sexism, racism, and actual sexual abuse, right? That's just a part of our field that we know is wrong, but we kind of just brush behind under carpet, whatever. So there's a lot of writing happening in that. I just did a literature review that was 33 pages. And if you've done any doctoral studies or any graduate studies, you know how you kind of go in deep there. So that is a real shift in how I'm thinking. But Ballet Ashani is, and whichever university I'm working in where I'm choreographing, become real core parts of my traditional creative practice of making dances. And one of the reasons I stay in universities is because I can make the work I want to make and not worry about somebody paying me to make that work, because I already have a salary, right? So if it's sink or swim, it don't matter, because me get to make what me want to make. You know?
I was waiting for the Creole to come, the patois to come. Fana, where's yours?
It comes in and out.
All right, but shoot, send us one.
This is why I think I'm doing this tongue practice, because there's something that happens. I don't know what it is in the brain. I don't know what it is. Something happens. Something happens.
And you capture it.
You find it, and then you have to feel it or hear for it, listen for it. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Our thing is so ephemeral. Oh my gosh. We love this stuff, right? We love this stuff. Okay, Makeda and Giovanni are back. What a ride today has been, y'all. What a ride. Wait, I think Iyun and Fana, you have to lead us through a little bit of a breath exercise.
Yes.
Everybody at home too, join. Just 2 seconds from both of you.
I think it's Fana who's leading this one.
Okay.
One of my favorite things. So everyone just wants to find a comfortable position. Allow yourself to come into a comfortable position. Maybe you find you need some extra support. You can offer that to yourself as you see fit. Just find a deep inhale. And exhale, letting go of any unnecessary movement. Making any tiny shifts, readjustments that you need to make. Any sounds, any movement, any shifts that you need to make are welcome. Take another deep inhale, exhale, letting go. Softening, opening, releasing.
And can I invite the last inhale, exhale? And if your eyes are closed, open them. Thank you, Fana. We needed that, all of us. Okay. So here's where I ask if we've forgotten anybody that you want to give a big up. a big up, give a big up to, a shout out, a heal up, a rasta, or just anything that's coming up.
Hmm. Okay, so if you guys would, I'm gonna be choreographing Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin, right? He wrote the book in the 1950s, and the rumor is, the historians say that it was about his life. And it follows a character who is American. He's racially nondescript. They don't say who his race is, but he goes to Paris and he experiences the things in Paris that he can experience in the US, right? And I think racially it follows that he would have that experience there. I think it offers a lot of opportunities to kind of dig deeply into a narrative of Blackness that we don't hear about often. And it plays into this kind of historic, but also present place, right? We think of the world as being this like really inclusive place where you can be who you are, but that's not true for everybody from all locations, right? And from all races and genders. So I'm working on a choreography for that. It's going to be an evening length piece, and I'm working with a composer of color and videographer, and I'm really excited about it. And we're probably not going to come out until fall of 22, because we want the audience to see the work. Me no
Oh,
want.
you mean? Yes, we want live. We want in person. Yes, everybody be safe. Amen. Fana.
I'm excited to be working on a new piece. I've tentatively titled it Love V. And I'm so grateful to be an artist in residence at Abrams Art Center 2021, 2022, and also a Jerome Hill Fellow in Dance. You know, the support is coming in. And Love V is going to be a coming of age story. Y'all better get ready. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be juicy. It's going to be a coming of age story, queer Caribbean femmehood, and the glories of self-pleasure. So that's what I
said.
with.
That was a lot.
I like the juiciness and the love.
Oh, yay. Okay, clearly we have to keep our audience updated on this. So let us know, we will. Yeah. And that's a perfect transition to pass it back to Makeda, who is Makeda and Marcus holding it down behind the scenes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you everyone for your patience with us as we work through the tech issues today.
That was YouTube, not us. I was YouTube.
Not us, YouTube. But thank you, yes, thank you everyone for being here with us. Reminder to like and comment on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our social media, and let's grow this beautiful community. Also, a huge thanks to our co-presenting partner, 651 Arts, for helping us to make Bach Dance Stories continue to happen. You can check out all the wonderful things that they're doing on their social media. Their Instagram is @651arts. So next week, our artists are Arena Butler and Reggie Wilson. So save your Thursday evening, and we will see you next week. Yep.
Yay. And thank you again, family, for hanging in there and for supporting us as we grow. We appreciate you. So one last cheers. Thank you, Fana. Thank you, Iyun, for holding it down tonight. All right, where's it? Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Going out there, everybody, and get into some good trouble.
Yeah.